Hey everybody, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm also going to be going over a totally separate topic, so you're going to get two videos this week. Congratulations. Instead of having one fully lengthy one, you guys can pick which topic you'd like to watch this week, which is the skincare for firming your entire body during the tirzepatide weight loss that you're on, or Ozempic or compound or whatever it is you're using. Or you can choose to watch this one, which is the process that I went through to obtain a compounded drug. And if you guys will remember, I am a Zepbound girl. I have only taken Zepbound. I hope to only take Zepbound, which is by Eli Lilly. However, I do fully understand why so many people are moving to compounds. Realistically, let's go over all of it so that you guys can get a better picture of the process that I went through. So make sure that you are tapping subscribe today. Make sure you also tap in that little bell to let you know when I do have new videos that pop up that you might be interested in. And let's get started. Okay, so last week I went over a whole chart of different compounded drugs, companies or services, not necessarily drugs. They were all tirzepatide that they were supposedly sending from each one of the services that I went over. And that is linked last week. I did have a lot of kind of negative feedback from people saying that, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know where the drugs really are coming from. You've never gone through this process. You don't really know. And so I took that challenge from all of you and I logged online on one of these nice and handy dandy little services that said they would provide tirzepatide sent straight to my door. No, I'm not using it, because if I do use it, then I lose both of my physicians that do prescribe me with Zepbound. So I'm not going to be using this compound, and let me go through the process of why. First of all, it arrived. I will tell you all that I used Amble. I decided to go through Amble because they did not have a monthly fee like some of the other ones did. They also had quoted that they source by only using 503A or 503B pharmacies. And so I thought in my mind, you know what, let's try and obtain this during this shortage. I'm going to get what paperwork I think my doctor would want to see, my local doctor, my endocrinologist, because I know for a fact that Weight Watchers Clinic and Sequence Clinic will not work with me if I use a compound. But maybe if I obtain their C of A, their sterility testing, they make sure that they're doing endotoxin testing, and they also provide me that they are in fact a 503A or B facility, maybe my endocrinologist will change her mind. So first things first is I went to the Amble website. I signed up on here. Now, one thing that is a little different about this is if you're not on the starting doses and you're on one of the higher doses, so for instance, I was on the 5 trying to go to 7.5 when I put this in, they are going to charge you a little bit more. Now, I went through this. I submitted all my information. I uploaded my payment information, and then I messaged the doctor through the portal. And I basically just said, hi, I've previously been on 2.5 for this many weeks. I've been on 5 milligrams for this many weeks. I would like to go to the 7.5 milligram of Zepbound tirzepatide. However, I cannot locate it. I logged this in, and a few mere days later of me providing a screenshot of my Weight Watchers Clinic showing that I was in fact taking this. However, I will point out to you guys, it did not have my name on it anywhere. It did not for sure show that it was my chart. It was just a screenshot. A few mere days later, I got a message that says, hello, we have prescribed this 7.5 milligrams for you, and it will be arriving at your door soon. I thought, really? I don't have to talk to anybody? I'm not talking to like a physical person to see that I'm a physical person, or providing, like my medical record, like with my name on it so that you can check that it's actually me. No. I did not talk to a physical doctor. It was all messaging. And then this arrived at my door 2 days later. That's how easy it is to get compound drugs. Okay. Of course, I covered up my name. But it does come in a pack that just says fragile, refrigerate upon arrival. It also came from RedRock Pharmacy. Let me see if I can show you guys. RedRock Pharmacy, the one that is in Springville, Utah. It says home compounding on here, Springville, Utah. This comes with these cold packs on the inside. There's 2 of them, 1, 2. And then it also came with my nice little Ziploc bag of my Tirzepatide in a vial and my syringes as well. I will tell you all that I was shocked by this. I was absolutely, utterly shocked at how simple and easy it was. I did not have to physically speak to anyone. I did not have to really do anything. It just arrived at my door. So that was a little different. I had also looked into specifically Join Amble to see which health kind of integration they were using to source to these specific pharmacies that were vetting the pharmacies as either or both 503A or 503B. Because when I look online at RedRock Pharmacy, I'll show you guys. When you look online at RedRock Pharmacy, there's nothing on their website that says they are a 503 compounding facility whatsoever. It does say that they're a compounding facility, but it does not say that they are regulated. It does not say that they have a state license for compounding. It does not say anything whatsoever about 503A. So I went out to the state of Utah and I looked up what their state license said. So when I look at their state license, they are a licensed pharmacy. It does say Class A, Class B. Okay, it also says they have another name. So I went down this rabbit hole. Maybe that other name, the CD pharmacy, is the one that I'm going to find that it has a 503A accreditation or check mark, whatever. I could not find anything there either. So in my mind, I knew Olympia Pharmacy, based off of all the boards, is both 503A and 503B. When you go to Olympia Pharmacy's website, you're going to see that they, in fact, have that listed on their website. It is like they're plain as day. Yeah, we're 503A. Yeah, we're 503B. What do you need? Like, we got it. I also went out to the Florida state license, pharmacy license, to look and see what their license said compared to what the one in Utah says, to say, okay, maybe if they are 503A, maybe theirs just says that they are like classified for this too, or they're licensed with a check mark, clear. In fact, theirs say that they are a licensed sterile compounding facility. So I reached out to RedRock Pharmacy as well as Amble, and I said, hey, I received this package of Tirzepatide, and I was told it was coming from a 503A pharmacy, that it for sure was coming from a 503A pharmacy. I have been unable to locate on the DEA, on the FDA, on the State Board of Pharmacy license, and including the pharmacy's website themselves, that this pharmacy is in fact a 503A pharmacy. The only thing I did find was in one of the groups when I asked, like, hey, have you guys been able to find anything that this is in fact a 503A pharmacy? Where are you guys looking? Because I've kind of dug up all these places where the other pharmacies that are 503A are listed and do have it showing that they are a sterile compounding facility, and they've got like a check mark and they've got it all over their website. And it's even mentioned on the FDA's website that they are approved as well. But I don't see CD Pharmacy or RedRock Pharmacy anywhere. The only thing that I did get was an employee that works for them that said that it was within her contract that she signed with them, stating that they were 503A. She additionally sent a screenshot, I'm assuming that she sent to someone else internally, asking like, hey, are we 503A? Like, what do we have that can show this? And the only thing that I've received from anyone all around, from both Amble, from RedRock Pharmacy themselves, is just an email saying, yes, we're 503A. Do you have something that you can show me that's like, hey, we've been, the FDA has come in, the state has come in, yes, we've been audited. Do you have any type of certification, any type of piece of paper that says you are a 503A pharmacy? And the response that I got was, we're a 503A pharmacy by default because we're not 503B. I don't know that I believe that. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. They could very well be. They could be, and maybe there's not anything that says like, yeah, this is a 503A. However, there is a full lookup for 503B facilities on the FDA website that you can look all of them up. There's also a full website on the FDA that you can look up, also with the state, any type of warning letters that any facility has gotten, what year they got it, what it was for, what was going on, all that kind of jazz. I've not been able to find RedRock Pharmacy on anything. So that is not like very promising to me, because you guys know I'm a data person. Like without like data and like proof and like receipts, as they say, like on the housewife shows, like show me the receipts. I don't know that I believe it. I mean, that would be like me saying like, hey, I've got some brownies out front of my house in the grass. They're brownies. They are. I'll send them to you. They're brownies. They're not brownies. It's poop. It's dog poop. However, I did ask them for this. Okay, yes, it's printed on blue paper because that's what was in my printer. But I'm going to show it to you guys over here, full screen so that you can see it. I did ask them for a few things. I asked them for their C of A, which is a certificate of analysis, which is basically like, where are your peptides coming from? Where is your tirzepatide that you're using in this compound coming from? It is coming from manufacturer, name and address. I'm going to butcher this. I know I am. Zhejiang Peptides Biotech Ltd. in Shenzhou City, Zhejiang, China. I know I butchered that. I don't want anybody to like, what? That's coming from China? Because in reality, for people who are not in pharmaceutical manufacturing, this might be like a mind blow for you. But in reality, the majority of the raw materials that we use in the United States in pharmaceutical manufacturing does come from another country. It does. I did look up this specific facility in China. They are supposedly one of the world's largest peptide manufacturers. And I also saw in the news that Eli Lilly is trying to address the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, to block the incoming import of peptides from other countries. So again, someone else asked me, like, do you even know what Eli Lilly uses in theirs? And I did dig into that as well. So when Eli Lilly submitted to the FDA for a new drug product with both mounjaro and Zepbound, aka Tirzepatide, they have to put together a full proposal, and they also have to include what is called an API. An API is going to list out every single material that they're using to manufacture and make this drug, as well as their full manufacturing process that they use, their testing that they use to validate that it is sterile, it is stable, at what levels. And they have to list where those manufacturers that they're using of all those raw materials of their BOM item, their bill of material, is coming from. However, I have been unable to locate it. I believe this is because that does not have to be open to the public to be able to see on the FDA's website. The only thing that I physically could see on the FDA website was this giant 300 plus some odd clinical trial study review of all of their clinical trials throughout the entire process. I dug and scrubbed through that entire thing to try and see. I am going to guess, this is just a guess and I could be wrong, but I'm going to guess that because tirzepatide is a patent by Eli Lilly in the United States, that they are making it themselves. I'm also going to guess that and come to that assumption because if they are addressing the FTC to block the import of any type of peptide coming into the United States from another country, that they would themselves not be able to get it if they were getting it from another country. So that would be very counterintuitive of them to try to do that to themselves. So that tells me that their tirzepatide that they are using, or their peptides that they are using, they are in fact manufacturing them. So that is kind of where I've gone down this little rabbit hole. So I will say that the other thing that kind of sprung up on the C of A from RedRock was that the actual buyer and the pharmacy that this went to was in St. George, Utah, not the Springville facility. So I went through to try to see if the St. George facility was the 503A facility, that maybe they were then just shipping it to the Springville facility to then go out, kind of like a supplier type thing. I could not find anything on them either as far as being a certified sterile compounding facility. So I will tell you all, they did send me both their rapid sterility testing, and they also sent me their endotoxin testing. And I will show you guys kind of over here. My husband has been in quality control for a very, very, very long time. I did have him look over these. What stuck out to us the most was that on their bacterial endotoxin, they're testing for, on their sterility, they're testing for a handful of different things when they're looking for this positive control right here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things on this sterility to say like, yes, this is sterile, it's good to go. However, there are realistically a lot more things that a manufacturing facility would test for. Now, that does not mean that this is not a good sterile test. It does show that everything passed sterility. It does show that everything also passed the endotoxin testing. However, I think they probably thought that maybe I didn't know what I was looking at, because I compared my lot number, which you'll see right here, lot number that was tested, compared to the sheets that they gave me and they sent me, and the lot number that I had received was not within the testing they sent me. So I simply responded to them and said, hey, you sent me this, which is great. I appreciate it so much, but I would like to know if you have the actual testing for this lot number. It took a couple of days later, but they did in fact send it to me, and both of the endotoxin and sterility testing on the lot they sent me was good to go. Now, I am going to tell you all, I've seen a lot of back and forth on the group pages about RedRock Pharmacy. A lot of people love RedRock Pharmacy. They think that they are like the best, the most potent, the bee's knees when it comes to a compound tirzepatide. Then I have people on the other side who had a lot of shipping problems. Most of it was shipping problems. And I showed you all that it arrived in this, right? And it had 2 of these packs. So what I was seeing on the group pages is people were saying that their packs were warm, their vials were warm when they received it, and when they contacted the pharmacy to ask them about it, they basically just told them, no, it's still good to use, you can still use it. I do not know, nor have I seen a stability study on tirzepatide, much less a stability study on the actual compounded version that this pharmacy is sending out. A stability study will tell you how long the drug is stable and at what temperatures and conditions. So I do not know if that's true or not. What I do know is that I saw right over here that they were in the news for the COVID-19 vaccinations, and they were removed from the COVID-19 vaccination facilities for improper storage, temperature storage, and also improper shipping of the COVID-19 vaccines. Now that, of course, was their Denver facility. However, I mean, if one facility is doing it one way, they usually all have the same process, or a lot of them will have a lot of the same issues. So I feel like knowing that about the COVID-19 vaccines with them, and then also seeing the comments from people about how they were receiving their Tirzepatide from them and them just being told that it was still okay, it's still good. I also am really just not impressed that no one can provide like a hard evidence. Here it says on our state license, we're a sterile compounding facility, or here it is on our website where we've put it up because we in fact are. I don't want to say it's shady, but it kind of is. I don't really know. I don't know, and I'm just going to be very honest with you all. I don't know if they are or they aren't. For me personally, it doesn't really matter either way because I was not going to take the compound drug when I received it. I've actually said to them via their chat on Amble, I said, hey, I've reviewed this, which I have. I've reviewed this with my physician. While I do have a C of A for their Tirzepatide and I do have sterility and I do have to endotoxin, I don't see anywhere, and I've not been provided by anyone, that it is in fact a 503A pharmacy other than you just physically telling me in a chat or them telling me like we are by default in an email. But somewhere there is documentation of this that they should be ready to provide to people. Because I also went to Olympia. I mentioned them before. They are both a 503A and a 503B facility. They've also been listed on the FDA website as a sterile compounding facility. Their state license also says that they are a licensed sterile compounding facility. They've got hard proof. This is what we are. This is what we're licensed for. FDA says so. State and DEA say so. We've got it. So I am going to tell you all. For me personally, I will also put the link down below where you guys can look up all of the different pharmacies to look to see if they are licensed. So if you're purchasing from somewhere online and you're not sure about them, you can look to see if they are licensed. You can also look in the FDA search list down below as well to see if they have any type of warning letters, if they have any type of citations, what their citations or warning letters were for, and in what years they were for as well. Because I think that's very important for people to be able to do and know if they want to. I'm going to be very honest with you, based on my research in the past week of doing this little experiment for you all on YouTube to show like, hey, yeah, I know what compounding is. I know how to get it because I got it. I know where it's coming from. I looked into where it's coming from. For my purposes, I was not happy with where it was coming from because they do not have the paperwork and the quality behind it to show me that this is what it actually is being marketed to me as. I've also gone to Amble and said, hey, like I want my money back because I was not sent a drug from a 503A pharmacy that a 503A anything has been provided to me to show me that like, yeah, it is. They're in the process of refunding my money right now because if they don't, it's going to just get turned over to American Express. Because, if American Express asked them, okay, can you provide us where this is a 503A pharmacy and you did meet your terms? They ain't got nothing to send other than they are by default. Okay. By the way, I just want to tell you guys, no one is certified or has an accreditation or has a license by default. I hope that everyone understands that. There are like audits that you go through. There are inspections that you go through. There is actual paperwork behind all of it. Nothing is just given for free. Just remember that. So I will tell you all that through this process, I did look at Hallandale Pharmacy. I looked up to see what kind of warning letters they had. I also looked at Revive Pharmacy because this was another one that had been brought up. I looked to see what kind of warning letters they had or citations they had brought up. Overall, this is a big if, like a big if, because rumor has it that our handy dandy Zepbound pens are about to be sent to us in vials. And then we are going to be getting our own syringes to inject ourselves. And a lot of people were talking about how on the Eli Lilly website, they have updated their instructions for injecting to now include those vials and the syringes down at the bottom, just so you guys know. So I think that instead of me kind of running around trying to locate a compounding pharmacy that I'm okay with, that I feel like they have everything in order, that my local endocrinologist may or may not also be okay with, because I think that the price for me of a compound is much, much more out-of-pocket cost than it is for me, who I have it covered, to wait for the Zepbound or call around for a few hours or drive 30 more minutes down the road or whatever it happens to be to obtain the brand name. Is just a little, I would rather spend the time on the phone. That's just me. That is me. However, I will say that if I were to try to get my endocrinologist to approve a compound, I probably would go with Olympia, just because they are both 503A and 503B. They have the state license that shows that they are a sterile compounding facility. They are listed on the FDA's website as well. I have reviewed what their previous past, citations or warnings are. They do not have any current, and they do also have where you can contact them directly, do a virtual appointment with them directly, and then they overnight ship, like one day, ship the medication to you to ensure that it is cold. That is my take on this. I know a lot of people are going to say like, hey, I don't care if they have these things. They're getting it to me. They're doing better than Eli Lilly's doing because Eli Lilly can't even get it to me. I get it. I do. I 100% get the fact that a lot of people don't have a medical coverage with their insurance or their benefit managers, their prescription benefit managers, their PBMs, that allow them to even obtain this drug, and they're still having to pay for it out of pocket, which is a very large sum, and that compounding is so much cheaper. I 100% get it. I am in no judgment, in no way, shape, or form of anyone who is using a compound and loving it and having great results. That's awesome. It really is. I feel like when it comes to this specifically, there's going to be so many more drugs that are coming out. Even NovoNordisk right now has their next one in the pipeline that is going to be the direct competitor to Tirzepatide, and it is in stage 3 clinical trials right now. You can go to clinicaltrials.gov at any time and review anyone's clinical trial data yourself. It's also, Google's great. You can type it in. It probably will come up for you as well. I think that there's going to be so many different things coming out and coming down the pipeline. I also think that with compounding specifically, with Eli Lilly trying to already go after peptides being imported in, they're already suing different compounding pharmacies. They're already suing different medical clinics. I would hate for myself to be on a compound and I'm really loving it and it's great, and maybe it even works better than what Eli Lilly has, and then all of a sudden I'm not able to obtain it anymore, because then I'm in the exact same position that everybody on Zepbound is in right now anyway, and then I'm scrambling trying to find a doctor who will write me a new prescription. And that's not the situation that I want to be in, because where I live and where I am located, to get a new patient appointment with any type of provider, a primary care provider, specialist, surgeon, anyone, it can take over a year just to get in as a new patient appointment. And I want to make sure that I personally am just following what my doctors are asking me to do or not do, so that they don't tell me, hey, we're not going to treat you anymore. You can't come back here. That's my goal, because that's what my doctors have kind of said to me. Now, I will talk to my endocrinologist when I see her in June, and I'm just going to say, hey, I've done, as you asked, my fair amount of research on these compounds, if this is still in shortage. Because right now I will tell you all that it is slotted and it is publicly announced that it will be in shortage through Q2 of this year. However, if you know where to look, like I do, you can find a whole forum of their pharmaceutical reps that are going back and forth and complaining about the company and finding all kinds of dirt out. And you will see that it is actually a company known thing that this is going to be in shortage through the end of this year, and that it's probably not going to pick up even into next year. Now, I will say that Eli Lilly did sign a contract with a Swedish company, I believe. I will look that up and put it up right over here, for a contract manufacturing facility. However, of course, like I said, that does take time to get it up and running. They are additionally building new facilities. However, when you're building a new facility, because I have been in a greenfield site from dirt to FDA inspection, it takes a very, very, very long time. You have to do multiple different engineering runs. You have to do conformance runs. You have to get through PAI. You have to go through a lot of stuff before the FDA is ever going to sign off on your facility being operational. And so they're putting themselves in place to be able to supply everyone in the future. But for now, I think they're just one thing I think they're doing wrong is they are telling these reps, according to the reps, they are still telling the reps to go tell the physicians to keep writing the prescription, keep putting new people on it. We're going to fix this by the end of Q2. Originally, it was Q1. Now it's Q2. It's probably going to be sometime next year, but they're being told to still go out and tell all their physicians to keep writing this prescription, keep writing it. I don't know how their quarterly reports and their board reports are put together. I don't know if it's based on actual fulfilled orders or if it's based on how many prescriptions they have in order. That would be good to know, wouldn't it? And they're kind of pushing these primary care providers and other people to continue to write these scripts for a drug that they know that they cannot fill, which is, as these people say, no bueno. No bueno at all. They've also put a whole lot of money, and I mean a whole lot of money, into Lilly Direct. They are also having their own physicians virtually that you can speak to get a prescription through Lilly Direct to get on the Lilly Direct line. And so they're kind of cutting a lot of their rep workforce, which is why you have threads like this kind of talking about the company. Overall, I get that it's not good on either side. I get that the people who are staying name brand and staying with Eli Lilly, or even with NovoNordisk and their shortages, are angry at the companies. How dare they give us something that actually worked and then not give it to us, right? I mean, I get it. I also get the people who are going to compounding. My point behind doing this experiment was I want you guys to know what you're getting. I want you guys to be able to look up and for yourself and see where this is coming from. Do they do the testing on it? What it is you're putting in your body? What is it? Okay. With pharmaceutical manufacturing, they are held to CGMP, which is current good manufacturing practices. They also have to have FDA approvals for what all it is they're using, how they're sourcing it, in what way, how they're manufacturing it, how they're testing it, how they're passing the testing. There's a lot of extra steps put forth with an actual pharmaceutical brand name that has been approved for use, human use, as opposed to a compound drug that's being created wherever. You just need to know what it is that you're using and just be okay with that. And if you're okay with it, then I'm okay with it. So I'm glad that I got to do this video as well today. Hopefully it was somewhat informative. I'm sure that I'm still going to have a lot of angry people down below. I will say that everything that I talk about in all of my videos, I do provide links down below in the caption so that you can go and look it up for yourself and read it yourself, especially when I am like summarizing or giving you guys the story behind what I did or what I found. I do link all of that just so that I have my receipts, as you could say, so that you guys know that I have in fact looked this up. I'm not just talking out my booty here. Okay, So if you guys like videos like this, make sure that you tap that subscribe button and also the bell. I'm going to continue breaking down my videos each week into the different topics so that they're not hours and hours and hours long, so that you guys aren't having to go through chapters. But I will tell you all, if you did not watch the skincare video, I will go over my week 9 results. If you remember, I was on the 5 milligram and then I had to drop down to the 2.5 milligram because that's all I could locate of the Zepbound to be able to take. And so for 4 weeks, I will be on 2.5, dropping back down. I did lose 2.2 pounds this week, even on the 2.5, which, by the way, a couple of days ago, it was like 3.5, 3.6 pounds. But then something, happened, and then now it's only 2.2 pounds. So I'm only logging it as 2.2 pounds, even though I did get down to that other number. And I'm just going to keep working. And if you watch the skincare video from today as well, which will be linked down below into the series of my Tirzepatide journey, then you will get to see a little bit more about, what I'm eating, my water, my exercise, my skincare that I'm using to try to help tighten everything back up, things that I'm liking, things that I'm not liking, and so on and so forth. But other than that, I will see you guys next week, because next week is going to be week 11. Bye, everybody.